Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad you could join us. A week or so ago, I sent out a video about the old 56 Ford Fairlane here, asking for advice and asking for help. And since I'm not a big YouTube influencer, I got very few views and no comments. But that's okay, because I made a decision. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get this thing running. And if we can get spark and we can get it running, we'll go from there. So today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check all the fluids, put a battery in it, and disconnect the fuel lines, and we're gonna see if we can't get this thing to fire off today. So stick around. So we'll start off with a quick review. Everything seems to be intact. Battery box seen better days, but we'll just throw this board down there. Did replace the positive cable, that black one there. The negative one has seen better days. I'll throw some tape on that here in a little bit. Our belt, it's crusty, but everything seems to, we did try to spin it over once and it spun, so we'll see. We'll unhook the fuel from the fuel pump there. Should just be that one line coming in. Soak that down. Carb seems to be working. The linkage is not all froze up, so that's good. And we'll check the fluids before we start. That hose is really bad there from the thermostat. So I'm not going to run it long, just trying to get a glimpse of hope here. If it can fire off, or if we know we got spark and it's getting fuel, we get fuel to it, we know we got a runner, then we know we can go further. I do know I don't have any brakes because we broke off the top of that and the pedal does go to the floor. But not trying to drive it at the moment because it's still on jack stands and it's still got a rotten front end. So we'll see what we can get done here today. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check the oil. A little bit through it. It is not existent on the dipstick. Yep. Smells bad. Smells old. So we might have to put a little bit in it just to see if it'll crank. Transmission still looks very clean and very full. This negative cable scares me a little bit, so I'm gonna do my best to get it taped up. This would probably be a lot easier if I was a mechanic and knew what I was doing. Alright. So, went out and bought a brand new battery, the cheapest one that we could find on the shelf. Throw this down in here. Stretch those cables out. Get it hooked up and see what we got. See if we get any sparks or any smells. No sparks. Smelling. Nothing. Tighten it down. Give a few minutes, see if we smell anything, see if any wires get hot. So while we're waiting to see if anything gets hot, take a look, see if we get anything on the dash. Got generator light, oil light, got dome light. That's good. Let's go out and see if we have headlights. My lovely assistant. Oh, got headlights. See if we have any tail lights. Oh, we do got tail lights. We even got a license plate light down there. That's a good sign. Come up and check. No hot wires anywhere. I got new spark plugs in it because we were going to check them and we broke one off and had a hard time getting that one out, and then another one was stuck in the back, and we actually come in and drilled a hole and stuck an extension through there to get to the plug that is up in there. So I know it's got new plugs in it. I just want to see if it cranks over. But first I want to try to get that hose line, that fuel line there unplugged, and I'm going to put a wrench on it again just to make sure it is turning over. We'll see what we get. So instead of trying to disconnect the line coming in from the tank, I couldn't get that, so I took it off, the incoming line off of the back of the carburetor. So we're going to see A, if anything pumps up through it, but B, we're just going to see if it'll crank over. And if it does crank over, then we'll give it a little squirt of 2-cycle gas and see what we get. Oh, still got to see if it, make sure it turns over. Got to get on that. All right, so I think we're about ready to give it a try. Battery's hooked up, hose, fuel line's undone. Let's see if we can get it to do anything. So, park. Put it in park. Nothing. Maybe it's got to be in neutral. It's got a neutral safety. See if we got anything. Nothing. So now to see, somehow check power to the starter, maybe to the coil, see what we can get out there. My first thought is that solenoid right there is bad. See if I can jump online and find a new one somewhere close and cheap and go from there. So went ahead, pulled the solenoid off, and went down to our local O'Reilly store. And the one that they pulled up for a 1956 only had one post on it. So we grabbed the one for a Thunderbird. I think there's something weird in between the 55, 56, and 57s where they went from a 6 volt in 55 to a 12 volt in 56, and then back to a 6 volt for a couple of years, starting again in 57. But we're gonna hook this one up and see what it does. All right, so we got the new solenoid installed, got the battery hooked back up. We're gonna go in and see if that has made a difference. Put it down in neutral. Nothing.
There's something I'm not doing.
Spark. Nothing. Well, back to the drawing board. So for today, we are admitting defeat. We have hunted down wires, we have fixed connections, we have greased up things, we don't know what to do yet. So we're going to try to research to see why we're getting power to everything except for the starter, even with the new solenoid, and go from there. So more to follow. All right, so I know we said we had admitted defeat, but we went in and did some research. Now we're back out to do it again. So I'm gonna see if I can connect to the positive side of the battery down to the starter to see if the starter will turn over. So if that will work, then it's somewhere in between the ignition, possibly this solenoid, maybe not grounded good enough, but we'll find out.
It's gone.
Connect to the battery. So, starter's spinning, but not engaging. So I'm gonna go try to adjust it. See if that works. Key still on?
Yes.
More adjusting. Heavy.
What's heavy? Old cars. Smells like beef and cheese.
All right, one more try. This ain't it. This don't work. I'm gonna have to research that starter because I might have to replace the starter. So that'll be fun. So just starter replacement just to see if it will crank and fire over. Not that it will run. We'll see. We failed again. All right, on to the next. So we're going to try to take the solenoid back off and make sure we got a good ground, and sand on the inner fender well here. Make sure we got a really good connection. Thank you. Just take some of this. that's gonna take forever. Got a new plan. Slap disc.
Looking a little sketchy.
Well,
Here you go.
thanks. So, put that back on, and that should give us a good, I guarantee a good ground. Let's try this one more time now that I grounded that. Same thing. So, defeat number 2 for the day. I've beat on the starter, I've checked the grounds, I've turned the engine over manually to make sure it's free. I've spun the back wheels trying to see if it's just the flywheel or flex plate not engaging. Nothing so far, so looks like at this point it's more research and possibly pulling out the starter, which too late in the day to do that today and not a priority. So till next time, we'll see what goes on. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we hoped that we would get it going today, but we obviously didn't. We're not going to give up. My lovely wife Sharon is determined to enter this car into a burnout competition to show Cletus McFarland and Derek from Vice Grip Garage exactly how a burnout is supposed to be done.
Whoever that is.
She knows who that is. We watch the videos all the time. That's the only reason she knows about it. But seriously, we would love to do something with it. We'd love to take it around as is and show people. We'd love to get it going and do something with it now. We made the promise to her dad that we're going to keep it this way, so that's what we're going to do. So, anything you want to add?
Dad would forgive us if we did.
that means bigger motors later. That's what that means, right?
Right.
So, more to come. Like I said, I wish we could have got it going on this video, but this isn't going to happen. We'll have to come out and tinker on it another time, do some more research. If you guys have any comments, you have any suggestions, all we're getting from the starter is you can hear it spinning, but it's not engaging, and we're still not getting power from the key to be able to crank it over. So I'm not sure what that is either. So if you got suggestions, got any advice, got any help, drop it in the comments, and please don't forget to subscribe and like, and hope to see you on the next one.